Have you ever tried to launch something? Maybe a new product, a new service, maybe a digital course. If you have ever done that, you know how easy it looks, but how difficult it is. And today I want to share with you a little bit about my experience in launching my latest offering, the Search for Success Challenge. There was a lot that went into it. I learned a lot. I want to change a lot. And there are some things that I am going to share with you that maybe you didn't think about during today's video. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Andrea Patrick, the BU Boss, and I help you take the guesswork out of being yourself in your business. I am a marketing strategist and personal branding coach, and I walk you through what it is you need to do and be your best in an authentic way. That's what I share here on this channel. And I want you to stick around, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. Thank you, OGs, for coming back. I really appreciate that. Now, let's get into today's video, shall we? I promised you that I was going to share with you some of the things that I have learned, things that I want to change, things that I think I did absolutely fantastically during my latest launch, which was the Search for Success Challenge. So let's dive in. I have some notes because I do not want to miss a thing. So let's dive into what I want to improve. Now, I'm starting here because I want full transparency and let you know kind of this whole process, because I don't think a lot of people share the truth about launches. They have us thinking that we do such a great job and that we make thousands of dollars with our very first launch. And that's just not true. I don't believe it. Don't believe the hype. All right. So here's some things that I would do. I feel like I could improve on in the next launch that I do. First is how I solicit participation for the launch. Prior to actually selling the program and all of those things, I want to do a better job getting in social media, getting in people's DMs, emailing people, getting out networking, talking about the program or the service, whatever it is I'm launching, a little bit more before I start putting ad dollars to it, or really starting to create a ton of content around the topic, because I think in doing so, what will help me is in those conversations where I'm networking and learning and growing and getting in people's DMs, I will start to hear and understand a little bit more about what people really want to know about the topic that I'm going to be speaking on as it relates to the product or service that I'm selling. Also, I want to talk about it a little bit earlier, right? So I am the type of person, especially like when I'm coaching people, one of the things that I really like for them to understand is what they need to do and be their best. And so I am the type of person that likes to sort of guide or kind of ease into my day, into my activities. And I think the same holds true here with this launch. I needed a little bit more time to kind of ease into the promotion of it so that I could get my bearings and get my footing and then feel more comfortable talking about it. I also think that, in beta testing something, which is basically what I was doing here with this launch, in beta testing something, it's not going to be perfect the first time. And that is a mindset that you need to have. Otherwise, you could feel like you failed if things don't go the way you had anticipated them going. So I think I need a little bit more time to start the launch process in talking to people, networking groups, getting in people's DMs, emailing my list, talking about a little bit more, and then asking for feedback and actually having conversations, doing one-on-ones, talking to people about the topic that I'm going to be addressing with my product or my service so that I can get feedback and really put what they're saying, their answers and their challenges into the program or service itself, and then give it back to you when I am actually ready to start promoting it and talking about it on social media. How I talk about it, I'll do it a little bit differently. I tried to follow a certain model this time, and I guess I didn't quite understand it, so I'm going to tweak that a little bit. And then two more things that I think I want to improve, and that is the hero piece of content that I chose this time to launch the actual product. This is, so let me just kind of explain. So I have a product that I want to sell. Okay, I chose this time for my hero content to do a challenge. Okay, I very quickly realized that the challenge itself needed to be the practice run. And so the challenge is launched, and I'm not going to really sell the thing that I was planning to sell on the back end of the challenge, because I think maybe that hero content, the challenge, was not necessarily the right thing at this time for the program that I actually want to launch. So that said, I still think it was a good idea, because what I get on the back end is an amazing challenge that there will be results from when people take it. There will be a transformation, which is exciting. But now I have this thing that I wasn't even intending on monetizing that I can now monetize later on. So that is okay. But I think the next time I go to launch the official product that I want to sell, I will choose a different hero piece of content. And by hero content, I mean the challenge, the webinar, the checklist, whatever it is that I'm using to grow the interest in the topic that I'm covering with the program that I will be selling on the back end, if that makes sense. So I think next time I'll improve this by choosing a different piece of hero content. And the last thing that I will do differently is I will do a little bit better job, not a little bit, a lot better job with lead generation. Don't know how I'm going to improve that quite yet, but that is an area where I want to improve. And I think a lot of my struggles up until this point has been that I've been so focused on creating that I kind of allowed the lead generation component of this launch to sort of take a second seat. There was lead generation happening, but I could have improved on that and put a little bit more focus on that so that it would have been even better than it was. All right, so that is what I think I would do to improve. Now, what did I learn? All right, I learned that people are willing to help, and it is just a matter of asking for the help. When you're an entrepreneur, you feel like sometimes that you're the expert in a certain area. I'm a marketing strategist, and I'm a personal branding coach or an authenticity coach. And so I want you to see me as that, an expert in those areas. And I have oftentimes not really asked for a ton of help because I feel like, this is my area of expertise and I should just be able to do it. And I'm sure you feel that way too. Don't act like you don't. I'm not the only one. But I'm being honest here. And in full transparency, I decided to ask people to help me with what I was trying to do. And they were so willing. And especially the ladies that I interview for the podcast. Again, that playlist is phenomenal. The women that I interviewed are chef's kiss. You've got to check it out. They are giving a ton of information. They are amazing experts in their own fields. And I would, encourage you to go check out that playlist and then reach out to some of those women because it was amazing. But all I had to do was ask them to be on my podcast. They were not really selling anything. They were just there to support, provide their own area of expertise as it related to what I was trying to do with my launch. I explained to them what I was trying to do. Everybody was on board. Everybody was so excited and enthusiastic and encouraging. And so I love that. I learned that it's just ask for the help. Everybody, we're all in the same boat. And even if you feel like somebody else is doing a lot better than you or they're further along in their entrepreneurial journey, they are still willing to help you on some level. I am sure of it. Now, you can't go into it expecting a bunch of free stuff. But I think if you ask for some reasonable things, there's a very good chance that they are going to say yes to you. Another thing that I think I learned is that I am such a server, and I talk about this inside my programs and with my coaching. I talk about serving over selling, and I still think that is very important. But there is a point in time where you have to fill your own cup, and that means you may have to be a little bit more aggressive in your ask. It doesn't mean you need to be salesy, and you still need to come correct with being able to meet people where they are and help them solve their own problems, in a very organic way, which is where the authenticity and the personal branding comes in. But I do think I could stand to be a tad bit more aggressive in terms of just being out there more. Like, I was posting on social media about the program, but I wasn't necessarily doing the best job of, reaching out to people that responded to my posts or actively posting inside of Facebook groups and offering, generous information from other people's posts. These are all things that I know to do, and I do with my clients and for my clients when I have them. But when my mind was just in creation mode and I was just so focused, hyper focused on creating this amazing product, that I just allowed that to consume me and did not do the best job of really positioning myself to actually do the launch, if that makes sense. And I do have a team, so things were getting out and we were, being out there visible, but just me personally actually going in, talking to people, being personable, helping in their groups and just like showing up, going to networking things. I think this is something that I learned about myself that I already knew it, but I just allowed it to consume me and I shouldn't have. And so I just know to do better the next time. So if you're in the same boat with me and you are trying to launch something, take heed. Do not get so consumed, or give yourself enough time to create the thing so that when you're ready to promote it, you have all your talking points, you have everything that you want to say, so you can sell it and you can talk about it in these various areas. So I would definitely advise you to do that. And then the other thing that I learned is that I need to find a better place to do all this stuff in, because at home, in my home office, like right now I'm recording at my house and there's chaos. And it's difficult for me to focus on what I'm trying to do. So that's another issue. I had my father was ill and I was flying back and forth to North Carolina. I have a daughter who is trying to find a job. She just graduated from college. I have a daughter who has special needs, and I had a daughter in college in another state, and I'm involved in my church, and there was so many things going on, which I'm sure you guys all know. And that's why I tell you there's no such thing as work-life balance. You have to be able to live, harmoniously between the two things. And when that is not possible at times, at least for me, it sets me off, and that's why the focus is a little bit more difficult, but I know that about myself. So instead of getting so frustrated and trying to get something up quickly and do things in spite of, I am giving myself a little bit of grace, and I've allowed myself a lot more time. But at the same time, you still have to have a deadline, which I have. So the Search for Success Challenge got its way up. We're in the process and it's all going well. But these are the things that I learned. So I just know that I need to kind of focus and plan a little bit better, find myself a quiet space, and do a little better job with that. Okay, so listen, I know that all of this sounds crazy. If you're not in the middle of a launch, this may not be relevant to you, but actually it is. If you are trying to determine a different way to manage your home, if you are working in your community and you want to help them create a new service for the nonprofit, or maybe you are just trying to learn something new in your own life, there is a process, and you have to decide what that is going to be in a way that's going to work best for you. That's why I call myself the Be You Boss, because living is not about having everything, all of your ducks in a row all the time. It's about knowing yourself well enough to know what you need to do and be your best, what you need to feel confident in whatever actions you are taking. And so if you are struggling in that way and you're in business, I have an amazing tool called my Be You Guide, and it shares with you 3 steps to leveraging your personal brand for organic business growth. So if you have anything that you're trying to do in your business, if you're trying to start a business and you want to learn how to create harmony between your life and your work, this guide is going to help you do that. So grab that. I will link that down below so that you do not miss out. It's absolutely free. Just grab it and you can walk yourself through it in a way that will help you set up your business, set up your circumstances in such a way that it makes things easy, makes things more harmonious. All right, let's go on to the third thing that I want to tell you about this launch. Okay, here's what I want to do next. What I want to do next is I'm going to sit down with my team and we're going to go through all the steps that we did for this particular launch for my Search for Success Challenge. And there, I'm going to look at some of these things that I said I want to improve. I'm going to look at the things that I learned, and we're going to make adjustments. And then we're going to apply that framework, that template, to the next thing or the next time we attempt to launch the actual program that I was going to launch this time. And guys, it's okay that I did not get it launched. I'm fine with it. And that's why I'm doing this video, because it's important to know. I feel like it's important, if I'm going to come on here and tell you how to live authentically, that I need to come on and I need to share authentically what is going on with me. And you've seen me talking about the Search for Success Challenge all these months. And we've had these amazing guests on the podcasts, and I've been having amazing guests on my YouTube channel, which, if you're not already subscribed, now is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. But it didn't go quite as planned, although it still went well, because we got, people in the challenge and all of that worked. It just did not make sense to launch the program that I was planning to launch on the back end. And so we're just going to put a pause on that, and we're going to try it again later. But the challenge itself did quite well. The process for getting people involved and all of that stuff was good. So I'm excited about that. Anyway, that does it for today. I hope you enjoyed this sort of random video about my challenge and the launch process, what I learned, what I want to improve, and what my next steps are. I hope it gives you some idea of how you can do this for yourself and not feel like you failed. There's no such thing as failure. We learned, right? Well, I shouldn't say there's no such thing as failure, but what I'll say is you shouldn't consider it failure when you are in the process of doing something new and learning, because we're all evolving, right? We're all trying to grow. And so we have to accept those times when things don't necessarily go as planned, but we have to find the lesson. And that's what this video is mostly about, is this was something that I tried and I learned some lessons from it, and I thought you would enjoy those lessons. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Don't forget, grab that BU guide from down below, and also click on the link for the playlist for the Search for Success Challenge, because there are tons of amazing videos with great information. So hit that playlist. It helps me. And if you have not already, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And then also don't forget that I have my podcast, the CEO Mindset Podcast, where we're talking about constantly evolving and being open to those feelings forward, because that's what we do here. I'm helping you to build that CEO in you so that you know how to do, what to do your best, and be your best in life, career, and business. All right. Bye, guys.